Hi, Captain Steve for BoatTEST.com, and Aviara is a builder of premium luxury day boats. This is the AV40, the flagship of the fleet, designed to entertain in style with an expanded entertainment area and expand your days on the water into the nights. We'll show you that shortly. These drop-down terraces to both port and starboard expand the 12-foot 3-inch beam to 18 feet 3-inch, and notice we also have a swim step that can be deployed off the stern. All of these are electronically actuated. To both sides are hatches that are used cleverly for fender storage, and if you use fender clips, there's even holes alongside to store those. Now, a nice safety feature is when this swim step is deployed, the engines won't start, so if you ever have trouble starting the engines, you might not have this all the way up. Have to appreciate this attractive grab rail going across the trailing edge of the transom, and take a look at this pull-out cleat, 10 inches, and that's one of 4 to each side of the boat. Now, we've all seen docking lights at the bow. They're like headlights for when you're pulling into a dock, but that doesn't help you much if you're backing into a slip. Aviara took care of it with aft-facing dock lights. Now, with the terrace down, someone may ask, well, what if you want to raft up a boat alongside of you? Well, go ahead. Do it just in front of the terrace. That's why we have 1, 2, 3 cleats ahead of the terrace on each side, so you can put a 30-foot boat right next to you and still board from their swim platform to your terrace. There's a stereo remote right up against the transom. And take a look at this lounge area. At 79 inches across, it's 3 across, 22 inches for each of the lounges. The seat backs come up to turn them into aft-facing seats, and while they're in the up position, I can actually step and walk behind them all. Now, why would I want to do something like that? Because there are bar stools just ahead. So now we can have 3 seats and 3 bar stools, 6 people all facing aft and enjoying each other's company and watching the kids swimming off the stern. Underneath the seats are 3 self-draining compartments. The one to the starboard side has the 2 engine flush ports. The one to the center has the main breaker panels, and to the left side of it, it's got the override switches for the terrace and the swim step. There's also a 12-volt adapter plug for your water toy inflators. To the port hand side, main battery switches. Now, at the touch of a button, we can bring the terrace up. Notice how it locks into position, and once it's up, we've got 20 inches of clearance. To both sides, as we enter the cockpit, there are gates that swing out. I'd like to see a more elegant solution. These are so low, they're more like a trip hazard. Just ahead, pull-out trash receptacle. Now, as far as this whole entertainment center, well, it starts at the end with a 110 outlet because we have a 9.5 kW generator on this boat. Beverage holders, all draining. Not just 1, but 2 electric grills, and I'm happy to see that there are cutoff switches to shut the power off when the hatches are closed. There's refrigeration underneath, and then just forward, there's a sink with bottle storage alongside and a removable cutting board. Plus, look at right alongside that, a 32-inch TV on an electric lift. And notice that once it gets into its fully elevated position, we can swivel it to face anywhere in the cockpit. Now, the cockpit itself, 5 feet 9 inches by 6 feet 6 inches, so plenty of room for gathering. There are forward-facing seats astern, and then to the side, there's a lounge going all the way across. And I can't help but notice the elevated level of fit and finish with the Aviara. Padded backrests, lumbar supports that come out to add a little bit more comfort, and plus, notice that the seats are angled back a bit so that you're sitting into the seat. Heated lumbar support and seats. Interesting option there. In the bulwarks, beverage holders, curved grab handles. Take a look underneath here. There's accommodation for a pedestal table and cockpit heating. 11-inch subwoofer. This is one of 2 on the boat. There are 10 speakers going through the boat. Now, notice we don't have speakers at the bulwarks like we normally do. We've got them in the overhead. One facing aft, another one facing down. There are speakers to the side of the seating area that project out when the terraces are down. All of this is fine-tuned by engineers from KLIPSCH. It's unbelievable. Now take a look at this. Just across, there's a built-in cooler. The drawer goes in at an angle, and there's a lid that is mounted at an angle. So as I close this drawer, the lid covers the cooler. And then directly across, a carry-on cooler. Now all this is under the protection of the hardtop, and what a hardtop it is. 12 feet by 11 feet, 7 feet off the deck. It's supported internally by aluminum framing so we don't have forward stanchions blocking our view. We've got an opening sunroof and an extendable awning. Now coming forward, here's an interesting piece. A little bolster that curves down to make it kind of an observer station facing forward and joining the captain at the helm. Just underneath, it's pull-out trash receptacle. And the walkway going forward has a minimum width of 23 inches. There's an air dam and a walk-through windshield. Now as we continue forward, I can't help but notice that the entire deck from bow to stern is on a single level, no steps, and look at the high bulwarks. Talk about a remarkable safety level, 41 inches. There's wraparound seating at the bow. We can get a filler cushion to go in the middle and turn the whole area into a sun pad. Naturally, there's storage underneath the seats, including a built-in cooler. In the bulwarks, speaker, beverage holders, grab handle just above, and notice that it's matching the cleats along the side. In addition to the 270 degrees of stereo sound in the cockpit and the terraces, we have even more sound up in the bow. Fully forwarded RTM hatch is supported by a gas assist strut. Inside, it's a remote control for the windlass. Washdown pump right alongside. There's LUMBAR windlass leading out to a through-the-stem anchor roller. CLEAT right alongside. And look at this, a dedicated spot for the wrench. Normally we see that just thrown into a clip. Here, it's actually getting a dedicated space. All this is in a recessed area, so when we go to wash it down, there's a drain in the corner that drains overboard. The helm is obviously embracing the glass dash technology. We've got 3 screens, one controlling the vessel functions, we'll get into that more in a moment, multifunction display, and then the LUMBAR display that has selectable information by pushing a button on the joystick. Now even though we have switching at this screen here, we also have dedicated switching for more important items like the horn, helm power, navigation lights, things along those lines. Now let's talk about this because Aviara did a really good job on this screen. Dedicated information on a bar at the top. Scroll through all of the functions at the bottom. First it starts with switching, sound controls for the KLIPSCH audio system, lighting controls, and then bilge pump controls. To the right side, engine start-stops, automatic trim tabs, digital engine controls, and then the joystick. And notice when I move the joystick, there's a display of what is happening with the joystick on the LUMBAR display. And I have to say, because of the LUMBAR power plants and the hydraulic shifting, silky smooth, no clunking in and out of gear. And just behind, there's a cubby with a control for the power seat, moving it fore and aft, and connectivity, plus there's a drain. Visibility is through a huge single-piece windshield, 7 feet 3 inches by 3 feet 4 inches, not including the walk-through portion. The helm seat, 75 inches wide, makes it, 3 across. There are 2 bolsters in a, looks like a 60-40 split. There's a heated lumbar support plus heated seat, and there's a flip-down platform at the base that gives us 5 inches of elevation or serves as an additional footrest. And this is all on an elevated platform 4 inches off the main deck. Now I said at the beginning that this boat extends the days into the night, so let's take a look at the cabin. The door is held open by a magnetic catch, and 4 steps lead us down below. A lot to like in this cabin area. First of all, roomy, 6 foot 1 inch to the overhead, and there's a skylight bringing natural light in along with the hull side window. It's a bench seat over to the starboard side, seating just ahead, and this has an adjustable seat back so we can put it down to form a berth 67 inches deep. There's a 43-inch TV to the port hand side, refrigerator, and then storage right alongside that includes a microwave oven. Now this whole sound system is connected to the KLIPSCH audio system that can also be playing sound from the speakers up above. The TV is also on a swivel so it can be viewable from up forward here. We can add a table here that can also be lowered, and a pad can be added to extend the 67 inches of this berth. Now just behind me, there's deep storage compartments times 3, and we also have a digital panel so we can not only control the lighting inside the cabin here, but also up above before we go out on deck. Now I noticed that all of this is one fiberglass piece, but it's also finished off with upholstery on the bulkheads. The head is over to the starboard side. It's a wet head. There's a sink recessed into a solid surface counter, mirror with storage behind it. There's air conditioning and ventilation. Additional overnight capabilities can be had in the mid cabin. It's got a mattress 67 by 86 inches. That's actually queen size, so you can get bedding at any store. There's storage to the sides and an overhead clearance of 30 inches. There's an electrical panel just to the side of the entry for the 110 system. That's connected to a 7.5 kW generator as standard. This one has the 9.5 kW generator as an upgrade because we also have the Seakeeper on board. Now let's look at this deck hatch in the middle of the cockpit. There's some special things going on here. First of all, it gives us easy access to the Seakeeper 3 gyro stabilizer and the fuel tank. Now, what's important here is you don't usually see a Seakeeper 3 when there's a stern drive installation, because the Seakeeper usually goes where the stern drive goes. Here they accommodated it in a very clever manner by making a U-shaped fuel tank. Moreover, the fuel fills are to both sides for that single tank, so you don't have to worry about hauling your fuel hose over the boat or which side you're going to dock the boat on. And when you're filling the boat from one side, you can open the other side to make it a vent and allow you to fill the tank even faster. Inside the engine compartment is a pair of LUMBAR 7.4 liter 520 horsepower HO engines. This is the only power choice for this stern drive application. Just ahead, as we already discussed, we've got the upgraded 9.5 kW Westerbeek generator. The standard is a 7.5. The upgrade because, again, we have the Seakeeper gyro.
The Aviara AV40 has a length overall of 40 feet 7 inches, a beam of 12 feet 3 inches, and a draft of 3 feet 8 inches. With an empty weight of 26,900 pounds, 15% fuel, and 3 people on board, we had an estimated test weight of 27,826 pounds. With the dual 520 horsepower LUMBAR 7.4 HO engines run up to 5,300 RPM, our speed topped out at 43.5 miles per hour. Best cruise came in at 4,000 RPM and 30.8 miles per hour. It was at that speed that the 42.1 gallon per hour fuel burn translated into 0.7 miles per gallon and a range of 235 statute miles, all while still holding back a 10% reserve of the boat's 357 gallon total fuel capacity. In acceleration tests, you reach planing speed in 5.8 seconds and you'll hold plane right on down to 11.1 miles per hour. We accelerated to 20 miles per hour in 10.5 seconds and to 30 in 18.3.
First off, it's a 40-foot boat, so it's not going to handle like a sport boat. But that said, it does have nice handling characteristics. Heavy boat, so it feels solid. Turns, doesn't really grip into the water to throw everybody and everything over to one side if you put it into a performance turn like a test captain would. Nobody would do it normally, but she does bleed off a lot of speed in the turns. So when you do put it into a turn, go ahead and add throttle, get through the turn, straighten out, bring the speed back again once it comes up in its natural tendency. And as she's up to speed, she has a natural bow high tendency about 5 degrees, and that's where you want it. Great boat to drive, a lot of fun to be on. So with 3 independent social zones, plus the expanded social zone in the stern, add to that the overnighting capabilities, the AV40 is a formidable opponent in the dayboat market, especially in the luxury market. And that's my full features inspection and performance evaluation of the AV40 from Aviara. For BoatTEST.com, I'm Captain Steve. We'll see you on the water.